Chaser Report is recorded on Gadigal land.
Striving for mediocrity in a world of excellence. This is the Chaser Report.
Hello and welcome to the Chaser Report with Dom and Charles. And today, comedian David Quirk. Hello, David.
Hello, folks. How is everyone?
Good. How was the Melbourne Festival? You've just done weeks of, finessing and honing your craft ahead of bringing it to Sydney, the nation's second biggest city. How does it feel?
Yeah, officially now, I think. Yeah. Personally, I can't believe that a lot of the comedians I think on Monday went straight up to Sydney to sort of think about that and get that started. I can barely imagine that. I am just like the dust has settled, and I don't know. It feels the circus leaves town, and it's weird, and it's desolate, and it's brilliant. It feels good. The run was good. Yeah.
And so, you did 20 shows, 25 shows or something? Did you?
20 odd. I saw all the other comedians on Instagram are saying they did 22 shows, so I must have done 22, but I wasn't counting.
Right.
I lost interest in that.
Would you say you are funnier now than you were a month ago?
Yes. Yes, I would. The show, I'm the first to say the show, I don't think hit the ground running. A lot of the other comics had the benefit, the privilege maybe even of doing their shows in your Adelaides and your Perths.
Yes.
I didn't do that. My first festival was Melbourne, which is not ideal.
No.
And I thought I knew what I was doing, but it really took a good week or more before I started to go, oh, wait a minute. You know what I mean? Maybe I do know what I'm doing now.
I've often heard it said that the 2022 dates in Melbourne are merely a sort of warm-up for your shows at the Sydney Comedy Festival.
Oh, yes.
For those two dates, it takes 22 just to make sure you got it in tip-top condition.
Yeah, I wanted to wear myself out for a month and then have a couple of weeks break. So it's like the biggest run-up of all time for the ultimate sprint, which is Sydney.
Well, your show couldn't have been more underprepared than Daniel Kitson's show in Melbourne. I don't know whether you saw his show. He was charging only $20 for his show because
the bastard.
He hadn't written anything. And then
Did
you see it?
Yeah. It's good you bring him up. I saw him. I know Daniel Kitson a little bit these days, and he loves to drink coffee.
Sure.
Like properly. Like that's all.
He doesn't drink booze, does he? No, he doesn't.
It's always daytime catch-ups with that man. But he said on day one of speaking to him when he arrived in Melbourne, he said, I've got nothing. This is in a text message. I've got nothing at this festival. And I wrote to him, not trying to kiss his ass too much, but I thought it's true. I said, well, your nothing is another person's solid gold.
Which
I think most people would agree.
I would agree with that.
But it was, I saw his show and it was not nothing. Some great stuff in it, but charging $20 does the rest of us no favors.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
and traitor.
I mean, we're here to promote your show, but I think you've reminded everybody that Daniel Kitson's show, which might have gone by the time people listen to this, is a very good investment, very good value for money.
It is.
So yeah, it's nice of you to promote another artist, David.
I think he could use the help.
Yeah,
that's right. But his whole thing was, I'm just going to work it up so that by the time I get to Edinburgh, it will be good.
Is he bringing it back for us next year? Do we get to see the finish, or are we just the out-of-town tryout? Where's the respect, Kitson?
Yeah, I don't know. It was still, it was an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
So you get, not only do you get nothing, but you get it for a solid amount of time.
For a self-indulgent extent.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
No, there was some really great stuff in it.
That's annoying though, isn't it? Someone who has done no preparation, blathers on for an hour and a half, and yet in there is so much brilliance. And this is my experience of watching Daniel Kitson, even when he doesn't prepare. It's just really infuriating. I just listen to what his mind produces and go, well, fuck comedy. This is, why do I even play in this world? This is not for me.
Yeah. I mean, he did do quite a bit of written stuff that you could tell he did have prepared, but
so he lied about it. Okay.
He's an outright liar. Yeah.
Oh my God.
The crowd work is woo. Just him. But yeah, we don't have to talk about him any longer.
No. Let's. So what have you been thinking about?
I love this room you're in, by the way, guys. It's very sparse.
Yeah.
We've set up our own podcast network. It's called Iconoclast.
Right.
And this is going to be the studio.
Yeah.
But we haven't signed the lease.
No, so but we're able to access it and sit in it with microphones. So just to describe the scene, we're sitting we've got fairly fancy microphones in front of a completely bare bookshelf. It's miserable. Yeah. It's a miserable space. And it echoes horribly.
It suits you guys in some backwards way.
Yeah, the comedy cupboard is bare.
Well, this is all our awards that we've won over the years.
There's nothing at all in the background of the shop.
It's like it looks like illegal, or like if Breaking Bad was a podcast or something.
But we're actually squatting. I mean, technically speaking, even though they know we're here, the people who run this, we don't have a lease. We're just sitting in an empty office, stealing government-owned resources, really. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we're doing.
Well, that's the dream, isn't it?
It is.
Well, in New South Wales, that's basically how you get ahead. You just steal from the government. So,
yeah.
Ever since the Rum Rebellion.
So, David.
Sorry, guys. You were asking me a question.
I know. Right? Tattoos, I gather, are a theme in this new show of yours, Cobra.
Oh,
and
yes.
I've never had a tattoo. Convince me I should, David. Convince me that what I need is permanent ink in my life.
No, you don't. The show it touches on tattoos, probably because you've seen the poster, the bold photo with my shirt off.
Yeah. You're looking pretty good for a man who's been in the game a while, David. Impressive.
Yeah, look,
Kitson doesn't have his shirt off. Kitson doesn't do a shirt off photo, does he?
That's why he sells so many tickets.
Nor should he. No, I don't know. My partner just said, I think the show's going to be called Cobra, and I've got this stupid Cobra, or the tattoo of the word. I thought there's only one way to show it, and so I had to take my shirt off. And I also thought at 42 years old, I might never look that half decent again, so I may as well take a photo of it.
Yes.
But yeah, it's very non-comedy sort of photo, but I think I'm very non-comedy.
Did you train? Like, did you sort of get a bit buff beforehand?
I skateboard a lot. I ride a push bike. I have been trying to do some, I do push-ups. That's the symbol for push-ups on Zoom.
Yeah, nice.
That sort of stuff. But no, I'm just, I guess I eat all right, guys, But yeah, should you get a tattoo? Absolutely not. I say at the end of the show, it's a poor way for one to express themselves, is the tattoo. I never had a tattoo until I was well into my 30s, so I feel like you're free to make some silly choices.
Were you aware when you went into the tattoo salon that it's possible to have a picture of a cobra instead of having the word written? I'm curious about the choice. It's certainly unconventional, really. I mean, many people would have got the word written in Chinese, I suppose. But you just got the word on one pectoral.
If you see the show, it'll be revealed why because it's a word I always say. The whole show is about the Cobra. To me, is it's all explained in the show, but it talks about it's like a term of endearment for like a tough idea of normally sort of masculine things, but so and since I use words all the time, don't we all? I thought it's better than a picture. The picture of an actual.
Oh, I see.
That's like old school bull dust. So I just thought the word is funny, and it also was free as well. I'd like to point that out. I was at a wedding, sort of a bit of a punkish wedding, where there was a tattooist giving free tattoos.
That's amazing.
That's when I got it. I doubt I'd have the tattoo. I would never pay money for that.
I agree.
I'm gonna hire that tattooist to do my next kid's party.
That's a very good idea.
You should.
Yes.
I can put you in touch with him. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe what I need, inspired by you, is a tattoo of the word tattoo, and just as a label.
Yes.
It's meta.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Tattoo. Yeah. There's no doubt.
Permanent tattoo. I could perhaps write.
That's funny. Yeah.
Look, because my brother's a lot cooler than me. My brother's an artist
and
he's
much
a painter,
more successful.
Much more successful,
and actually he's sort of funnier. He's
actually better than me in every dimension.
Yeah.
And he has tattoos, many tattoos. He got a tattoo for each of his children when they were born, for his wife. Just his body tells a story in tattoos.
Yes.
Whereas my body has no stories to tell.
Mind you, if you were ever wanted for murder, it would be much easier to identify your brother if he was on the lam, because he'd have all these tattoos that you can't erase, whereas you can just anonymously, go into the crowd and never be seen.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. You don't want to be marked.
That's a nice way of saying I'm entirely indistinguishable, but which is true.
It also means that if you ever turn up dead in a ditch, it'll be very hard to tell whether it's you or not.
That's why I have to get the tattoo of tattoo.
Yeah. You'll just be one of those anonymous deaths, in a mass grave or something.
Pasty white man. Well, that could be anyone.
It could be any murder victim, really. So, David, are you a full-time Melburnian these days? Are you?
Yes,
you there
more
for the
or
long
less.
haul?
Even sometimes against my will. But I'm from country Victoria, is where I grew up, and moved to Melbourne because I'm from northeast Victoria. Grew up in the bush, I suppose. You turn 18 or so, you start to think about where you might move or what you might do. And I guess Melbourne was the closest town. And so I moved here and sort of lived here since, I think, 1999.
Wow.
But, I would love to live elsewhere now or something. But, no, I'm happy here. I think it's a good city. I mean, it's a good town.
In terms of comedy.
Hell of a town, world-class city.
It's kind of the only place to do comedy in Australia, isn't it? There's not really any other viable place to base yourself.
No. I'm very jealous of like a lot of the folks that have come out of Brisbane, which is quite amazing. Your Sam Campbells, your Greg Larsons, your Damien Powers.
Is the amazing bit that they got out? Is that what you're getting at?
No, the getting out makes sense, but I think it must, being the kind of town that Brisbane is, unlike Melbourne, must sort of breed. Sort of hone the weirdness can be honed into something hardened.
And the rage that those comedians manage to access surprisingly easily. I feel. Yeah.
But then again, also Sydney, I'm a huge fan and friend of John Cruikshank. I don't know if you know him.
No, there's no comedy scene in Sydney at all. I've never heard of him because it's just the way it works. You can do comedy in Sydney and move to Melbourne, don't you? Why didn't we do that?
Yeah. I don't know.
I'll see him next year at the Melbourne Comedy Festival.
Yeah, that's probably the place to see him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, wait till he comes back here. Yeah. Whatever you do, don't leave the house to pay money to
go and see a comedy show. Festival. Well, you wouldn't you'd stumble on one by accident, but you certainly wouldn't find out about it any other way.
I didn't realise until this conversation that you could go out at night. Because I'm from Sydney. I've lived here my whole life. So
no, you're.
So is there? I didn't realise. So what happens in Melbourne? You go out at night.
In Melbourne, you can finish work for the day, and you don't even have to go straight home.
Right.
You can actually go out and you might be able to see a film or go and have dinner. I forgot you guys can't do that.
Are the streets illuminated in Melbourne? Like, do you just bump into cars and things?
You guys have got the roving death squads, don't you, at night?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't know. I've never been out. I've never been outside at night.
You wouldn't know.
I don't know. Like, I mean, maybe they're illuminated here.
I think there's lockouts that begin at 5 p.m, aren't they? That every venue locks you out. After there.
Okay. Yeah. Well, unless it's Maryvale.
I did forget.
Yeah, I think you're allowed, as long as it's owned by Maryvale. I think there are some sort of exceptions for.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. That makes sense.
Maryvale
I think the festival that I've been seeing on that I'm apparently even booked to do is Pretend, isn't it?
It's fake. No, it's a really good. See, the thing is, Melbourne came up with a world-renowned international comedy festival and had a model where it was open, anyone could have a show, and hundreds and hundreds of shows. That's one way to do a festival. Sydney, of course, waited and got it right.
Yes,
where it's run by one company that owns all the venues pretty much, and so that's why. Now this is a good thing. You only get rather than having to do 20 days and having the whole problem of having a run and people's it's word of mouth, and by the final week you're selling out and there's a lot of excitement.
Do you think is it actually? This is interesting.
That's the Melbourne way of doing it. The Sydney way of doing it is there's just 2 gigs in your case. Most people do 1 to 2 gigs.
Yeah, I'm doing 1.
And if you get to it, great.
Yeah.
But if not, then
it doesn't matter.
The company's rented the room to someone else tomorrow night. So you can tell as well as you like, but no, there's definitely no momentum. That's a superior way. I think it's vertically integrated, isn't it? It's like Apple.
Given the high levels of sarcasm that have already happened in this chat, I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not. I cannot tell.
I mean, look, it seems to me a little bit of a frustrating model. However, they've actually managed to create a thing called the Sydney Comedy Festival that apparently makes enough money to continue to exist. So perhaps it's a genius idea. Perhaps it's the only possible way to have anything in Sydney that runs more than once without going broke. Is by the company running the whole thing.
The machinations. I don't no.
Well, this is certainly an amazing glimpse behind the magician's curtain of the Sydney comedy business scene.
I think both David and I are a little bit too scared to comment, to be honest. Like, it's sort of like...
I think I did one show with them
We
ever.
also can't comment negatively because they're doing it.
It's the only game in town.
Yeah,
Look, and
exactly.
full credit to them for having the only game in town.
Well, there was that brief period in Sydney about 20 years ago where there were two competing
That's right.
Sydney
There were
comedy
two
festivals,
competing ones,
which was hilarious. And there was
Right. What was the other one?
there was one was called was it Just for Laughs or something? Or
Well, there was Just for Laughs had a
right,
Sydney
yeah.
branch, but then there was another one at the
Called
same time. I
called
can't remember what it's called.
the Cracker.
Cracker, that's right.
Cracker
The
Comedy
Comedy
Festival.
Festival.
It was, I mean, actually a dear
Good
colleague of ours, I think, did the Cracker Comedy Festival, wasn't it? John Pinder.
John Pinder, who was the founder of the Melbourne Comedy Festival.
Yes, and
That's right. And
he
the
booked
great man
out.
didn't he? I never went to it, but the world's funniest island.
Yes, the world's funniest island
And so
with the
he
world's
booked-
worst ferry service, apparently.
No, and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he booked. I mean, it was a front page news because he booked
Yeah.
Cockatoo Island, and then he
was.
forgot. I think he forgot to book the ferry service or something,
Right.
and
right,
so
right.
it was a bit like Firefest before Firefest.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
it went spectacularly bust.
I mean, it was the world's funniest island, but the joke was on the audience, unfortunately.
Yeah.
He was a wonderful dreamer and entrepreneur, and he's given the world many. And we love him.
Yeah,
Really.
definitely.
He passed away.
Yeah, he was a magnificent man, but that wasn't one of the administrative highlights of his long and successful life.
Yes.
No.
So have we offended everyone? Have I
File.
managed to ensure I can never get a gig at the Sydney Comedy Festival? I think so. But that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Mind you,
No, it is.
do you ever do Adelaide, David?
Yeah, I've done Adelaide numerous times, especially in my early days of doing the festivals. I think I did it must have been 2021 was the last time I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always a mug's game.
Because I love Adelaide. That's my
Yeah.
favourite festival because it's so beautiful. It's just
Yeah, it's so beautiful, and people really come out.
Yes.
I mean, Melbourne, it has its festivals, and Sydney does well, and they're both pretty amazing places. But I don't think any city in Australia can touch that level of sort of things going on.
That's the
as
thing.
Adelaide
They save
in
it all up
March
for 1
or
month.
February or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's
actually
a very
pretty wild,
efficient
isn't it?
system.
yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and
I love it now.
Sydney by contrast saves all of its energy up for one night. It's just literally we only have New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve, yeah, that's
and
it.
then
Right.
You're
and
exhausted
then-
for 364 days. Yeah,
Yeah,
certainly
that's
too,
right.
too
it's
tired to go to a comedy gig.
recovery.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, and the firework budget. I mean, it must really ruin the rest of the year, I suppose.
Well, the cocaine budget.
Yeah, it's
is-
oh, sorry, yeah.
you
oh,
know,
that's what you
guys
mean
would know
by
much about
fireworks.
that,
Yeah, sorry.
The Chaser Report. Less news, more often.
David, I must say it's been a while since I saw one of your shows, but I've loved the ones that I've seen.
Thank you so much,
You are
guys,
a
yeah.
spectacular comedian.
Thank you. I didn't expect that.
No,
I
it's
just got up from a sleep before. So
I've talked to a
just
few
means the world.
comedians this week whose shows I haven't seen at all ever. And so it's nice to have someone on the podcast who I can actually feel comfortable in saying if you go and see the David Quirk comedy experience, you'll go away happy.
Thank you so much. No, that's nice. I was told, no, come and see the show. Free tickets. Free tickets for all. Listen to every person listening.
That sounds like a terrible
If
business.
you've made it this far into the
Don't.
podcast.
No, I'm
No,
not going
don't
to make
get
enough
paid.
money anyway. Definitely.
Pay the man. He's got it. Well, I mean, he did get the tattoo for free, to be fair.
Yeah. You should just do the Daniel Kitson thing and next time not write a show, but then heavily discounted and see how that goes for
I
you.
wonder if that would work. Just quickly, I'm sure you want to wrap up by the sounds of it, even though I thought you wanted to talk about some sort of news thing today.
Oh,
We did, but it wasn't communicated to us what the story was. But yeah, by all means.
Yeah.
No, well, I just want to talk about in terms of Kitson and the way he can promote himself, which I think stands alone. One that stands out to me is Sam Campbell, if you know him. He was selling out a 400-seat venue nightly here and then moved to the Athenaeum Theatre, which I'm sure you're familiar with. But for example, the way he markets himself, it's outrageous. It's in Edinburgh. His poster. Try and picture this if you don't know. His poster was a full bleed image, a photo of himself and the reviewer Steve Bennett from Chortle, the English comedy website. and no text.
Oh.
No text at all.
No text.
That was his post. Yeah.
Just you had to know who it was.
Yeah.
And just
And
Google
he won
yourself.
the award. He won the main award with the poster like that. And it's just like, it's very, I thought I would see him as a comedy sort of nerd, but he's actually a comedy punk genius.
That's
or
bloody
something.
irritating, I must say, that level of success.
It is irritating.
Yeah,
I've got text on mine. I've got times. I've got dates. It's so weak.
That's very 2022, David.
Yeah,
I had to be the one to tell you. That was very last year.
But regarding news, there's all sorts of things that are close to my heart. But I thought I'd bring up something that I read today that sort of found interesting.
Yeah.
Do you read The Guardian?
Yeah.
Can you see this? Do you know what that is?
Oh, I
you
do
see
know
this
what
article?
that is. Yep.
What's this?
That's a fantastic story.
What is it?
Charles doesn't know this story. Tell Charles.
Well, it's just that. Okay, Charles. Here we go. The only Australian with a role in King Charles's coronation is from Wangaratta, where most people don't know him. I found it interesting because I'm 45 minutes. I grew up 45 minutes from Wangaratta. Wang.
The Wang.
Yeah, my dad lives right near Wangaratta.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, and then it goes on to say Simon Abney Hastings, the 15th Earl of Loudon, will be the bearer of the great golden spurs on 6th of May. But that doesn't cut much ice in the town where Nick Cave grew up, which is true.
Damn straight. Apparently, there's a theory, I believe. I don't know if it says so in the article, David, but there's a theory that this man who lives in, from regional Victoria is actually the rightful king in sort of Game of Thrones way, because there was a bastard somewhere back in the lineage.
What are the descendants of? What are they called? There's a word I had to look up. Where is it? Oh, sorry, guys. I feel like I'm really blowing this.
This reminds me of Daniel Kitson.
George Plantagenet.
Plantagenet. Yes.
Plantagenet.
Yes.
So I had to look that up. It's like some 11th century sort of stuff, isn't it?
I think they got killed off, but then they've clearly got some descendants living in rural Victoria. And if you were a genuine royal, you would live in regional Victoria, where you could probably hunt on the sly and get some pheasants.
It's making me laugh, but I find it really quite wild. No one in the town even knows him. No, like he's just the hell?
So he doesn't go around, because if I was is he an Earl? Is that what he is?
Yeah,
he's an Earl. Right.
He is an Earl.
I would insist on everyone, addressing me by my proper title. Like, you go and pick up the Herald Sun. You go, please.
Your Royal Highness. Or
call me Sir, or I don't know what they call Earl, but your Royal Highness.
Your Grace, probably. I don't know.
Your Grace.
But imagine the notion of being a genuine royal of some sort, or possibly even the rightful king, and living in a rural place outside of the UK, and just shutting the fuck up. Imagine if Prince Harry had that idea. It's a genius concept.
Exactly. And also, as I found, it took me years growing up there. My parents, they had to go do a big shop. You would drive to Wangaratta. You had to go to the Kmart or whatever. And we all called it Wang. But the only famous person from there, which is mentioned in this article, is Dean Woods, who was the champion cyclist.
Oh.
He died recently. But then I found out later in life, probably 15 years ago, that Nick Cave got expelled from school at 13, and he rightly knows that it's an absolute shithole. I also know that. It is a shithole. So it is amazing that I don't know how he's ended up there, but I love...
Well, I think probably poverty.
Property prices. Yeah. I think isn't that the only reason people moved to Wangaratta?
Apparently. Probably moved there during COVID, which is what they did. It says here he's the only Australian to play an official role in the coronation of King Charles III.
And there's something involving golden spurs, which sounds bizarre, like a cowboy Wild West. But maybe you should get him on the podcast. We should probably get him on the podcast.
Oh, yes. Yeah. What a great idea.
I'll have a word to him for you.
Yes, thank you.
If you can put the word out through the Wang, network.
Yeah. And so does that mean, do you know Nick
Wang
Cave?
Facebook group. Yeah,
do you know Nick Cave then? Did you grow up
No,
with
I
him?
do not know him. No.
Oh, damn. Yeah, right.
He used to go into the skate shop I used to work in, but no, I can't speak to that.
Oh, damn.
Sorry to end on a sour note, guys.
Yeah, that's
I kind of wanted you on the podcast because I thought you needed Nick Cave. That's like, as much as I genuinely did enjoy. I think I've seen you 2 or 3 times before and enjoyed them all. It was just sort of
the Nick
Cave thing. Yeah.
And the royal connection, obviously.
And the royal connection.
I had you at Nick Cave.
Yeah. Despite that, I'm gonna be generous and say, despite the lack of Nick Cave, exclusive information, still go and see David Quirk's show, Cobra, 6th, 7th of May at the Sydney Comedy Festival. And if you're lucky, he'll reveal his tattoo, not of a cobra, but of the word. I think that's well worth the price of admission.
Do you flash it? Because it's on your nipple.
Yeah, look.
Free the nipple. Oh, shit, that's hot.
There you go, guys.
That's
It's
worth
been a
what
big
are you,
day for me.
That's worth more money than Daniel Kitson charges. I'll tell you that much. Thanks
I
for
hope
being
they
with.
embalm me. Someone stands me up like at the end of all this, like
yeah.
Weekend at Bernie's.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. It's been erotic. It's good having you on. Thanks, David.
I'll see you during daylight hours in Sydney, right?
That's the only option. Gears from Road, we're part of the Iconoclast Network. Catch you next time.